Good morning, I'm Catherine. Welcome to my hillside garden in northeast Pennsylvania, Zone 6. It's April 28th today, and the weather is going to be hot. I checked the 10-day forecast, and at least through this weekend, it's going to be in the 80s during the day. So there's some things that I need to do to prepare the tomatoes I put in the garden for this hot weather. I want to show you what I did just after I planted the tomatoes to protect them from the wind and possible sunburn they could get while they were acclimating to their new home. So let's go see the garden ghosts. Okay, here we are on the upside of the main garden bed. And as you can see, it looks rather odd at the moment because I have the tomato cages covered with frost blanket material. And the reason why I've learned to do this is because generally when you plant in the spring, it can be very windy. And it whips your new transplants around, and since they are on the downward slope of the hill in the yard, they get windburn, and it makes them struggle a bit. Then what happens is they'll get sunburn when it gets so hot. So what I've had to do is I place these covers on the cages to prevent them from getting sunburn and windburn. So I need to remove them today because it is going to get to be 80 degrees. I may change the configuration just so that bright sun isn't on them so hard, but I need the air to circulate around them, so that's why I need to take off the total amount of fleece blanket. Okay, so I've changed the configuration of how I have the covers. I just moved this one to the very end. Those are the Siberian tomatoes. They are an earlier crop, cooler weather, so I haven't worried so much about covering them, and they are a determinant and do not need to be caged. So I opened up that back portion and most of the side portion for them. Here I've raised this cover off of the ground and tried not to let too much of the leaves actually show in the sun because it's still spring and the angle of the sun can still be very intense on this downward slope. I also took off the cover that was on this side, so now at least the tomatoes have cover from the sun, but they will get any air movement that comes through. And here's here. I've opened up the back of this set and just made sure that that cover will block the most intense of the sun that will shine today on these beauties. They've been in there since Tuesday. No, Monday. They've been in there since Monday. They seem to have taken rather well, so I want to be sure they continue to have a good first week in their new home. I've used different kinds of cages. These green ones are nice because they fold flat, so they're very easy to store. I have some of the heavier gauged galvanized tomato cages that are taller. Over the years, you tend to collect things as you try them. And these, I just have that bit of cover so that a lot of the direct sun will not hit them through the day. Let's go look at the current beds now and those ghosts. Here are the ghosts in the currant bed. I've got one plant in each of the boxes, one tomato plant, and I've had them covered also with the all-purpose or frost material because I wanted to be sure they didn't get sunburn or windburn. And these are at even more of an angle than the main garden bed. So let me go about taking these covers up a little bit, and then I'll bring you back. Okay, so this is the first year I'm growing tomatoes here in the currant garden, because we just put these beds in last spring. So I'm not exactly sure what kind of coverage they actually need, like I do with the main garden bed. But what I've done is I've raised up the all-purpose covers, what I hope is just enough to be sure the air circulates around them well, and so that it is not touching the leaves of the tomato plants, because it's a little moist out today. It must have rained a little bit last night. These have the triangle cages like I showed you, fold flat when they get put away. These are new though. I've never had these before. I know it's a little bit hard to see them since they're covered, but the back end is open. It's got the two posts in the back and one in the front, kind of square shaped with an open back. It's a nice heavy galvanized, and it's probably about they're probably about 3 feet tall, and I think they'll make good tomato cages. I just wanted to show you this one tomato plant. It is the roughneck golden tiger, and it did say that the leaves would be fuzzy. And if you can see it, can you see how there's like a fuzziness to the leaves? So I'm really excited about this one. I hope it does well here. So I just wanted to share how I try to care for my newly transplanted tomatoes on a hillside so that they don't receive very much windburn or sunburn. So, thank you for joining me today. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up and join me again. Have a great day. Happy gardening.